theme of this year's conference is Preservation Works, and we know this is true in Rhode Island for many reasons. Preservation works by recognizing and respecting the heritage and architecture of all Rhode Island communities. Preservation works for neighborhoods by keeping local community character and renovating vacant and blighted buildings. Preservation works for homeowners who appreciate the special features of historic houses. Preservation works for downtowns by revitalizing Main Street and encouraging investment in historic buildings for new businesses. Preservation works for open space by recycling existing historic buildings and promoting redevelopment and reuse of existing infrastructure rather than building on new green fields. Preservation works for housing by creating more than 3,000 homes and apartments in rehab buildings in the last 10 years. Preservation works for workers by creating more than 28,000 jobs since 2001. Preservation works for our state's economy by stimulating $1.5 billion in private investment, building state and local tax revenues and local property tax base. Preservation could work even better if the Rhode Island General Assembly were to pass legislation this year that reactivates the state historic preservation tax credits. You know, over the last 10 years, credits, historic preservation credits, have only been provided to projects that were successfully completed, and no credits have gone to former ball players from the Red Sox organization. Preserve Rhode Island, a statewide nonprofit advocate for historic preservation, has collected over 700 signatures on a petition to our legislators urging them to take this important action. And copies of the petition are being circulated in the audience right now for your convenience. If everybody were to sign the petition today, it would go well over 1,000 and would be delivered to the leadership on Monday and have a chance to influence what happens at the State House. So I hope you will notice the petition going around and feel free to sign it. Today's conference sessions and tours will explore the many ways that preservation works, and will focus a lot of our attention on new projects and new opportunities for historic preservation. But I don't want to lose sight of the fact that the heritage we preserve is a legacy of work performed by men and women in the past. Here in West Warwick, the landscape was once dotted by isolated farmsteads, where farm families worked to produce subsistence in small surplus. The Payton Homestead, that some of you will visit later today, is a good example. In the 19th century, West Warwick was transformed into a collection of manufacturing villages, lining the Patuxent River, and the landscape was dominated by massive stone mills, like Royal Mill, which some of you will visit later today. As you explore the region's historic places and celebrate the town's centennial, keep in mind that the work of historic preservation is not just based on the present value of historic structures. Historic communities like West Warwick are the achievement of hard work by previous generations. Preservation works through understanding our shared heritage with the past, just as the places we preserve today will connect the future with us. This morning, our conference begins by looking at the great transformation and industrialization brought to the southern New England countryside. Preservation works when we retain and interpret the heritage of this vital chapter